Hey everyone out there in Facebook land, YouTube, wherever I end up uploading this to. I have something that just I have to get off my chest. I have no idea why. It seems like it's burning in my heart for some reason out of nowhere. And I don't know if it's just an issue of wanting to be able to just spontaneously create a video, create something just when I have the inspiration to do it or what, but I have to just kind of pontificate a little bit for a second here, and it's not going to take long. But I think that this, the subject of this video is going to be about free will versus determinism, and I think this issue has just been confused and made messy for no good reason, because I think it really is much simpler than what people make it out to be. And feel free to contest anything I'm saying here and say, show how it's actually more complicated or how I'm getting some things confused or whatever. But, humor me for a minute here. So basically the debate, has been going on for a very long time and hasn't just been in theological circles, but it's, between Arminians and Calvinists, but it's about, free will versus determinism, whether our will is free to to freely choose between choices, or whether we're just determined by the past or by God or nature or whatever. And it gets, most probably true blue determinists who think that, I guess unless they're physicalists, which is a lot, but at least in the religious world, they're probably pretty rare. Most Calvinists are compatibilists, which compatibilist believes that you can will, but you so basically, oh gosh, I can't remember the common saying even right now, so I'm probably a little ill-equipped, but I think it's something like you can will, but you can't, or you can will to will. So basically, there's the power to actually do something, to actually follow through on an action that you want to do, and then there's the so that's like kind of a physical power, basically. But then there's also the will to will, which is like, just, even if you can't carry it out, you've made a decision and you're free in that sense. So they would say that you have a sense of free will, even if nature is determined that only certain things can happen, or that ultimately your nature has been determined beforehand, before you even, as you, like, nature determined what you would be like external to yourself. So I'm going to contest that, but I'm also going to show how this issue is like, it's not necessarily one or the other, ultimately. Basically, I think that your nature, like, there's this whole debate over whether nature is superior or your will is superior, right? Which one dominates. I think that they're actually both the same thing. Your will is your ability to self-determine or self-guide, and determine your own decisions. And your nature is basically the kinds of, it's like exemplified by the kinds of decisions you make. You could say your character and your disposition, your temperament, and all that. But I would say that, like, all those things, your character, your temperament, all that, and disposition, they all carry a sense of will in and of themselves. And so your nature and your will are the same thing. So no matter what you do, it's still self-determined, because it is your own nature determining it. So that kind of simplifies it a little bit. But then you might ask, well, isn't your nature predetermined by, external elements, so your environment and how other people have nurtured you, your genetics and all that? Well, I'd say that I think ultimately, now you don't have to humor me here too, because it might sound kind of mystical or esoteric or whatever, but and actually I think it's kind of common sense if you think about it. At least it might not be common sense to people who aren't theologically inclined, but if you well, a lot of people have said that all humans have the divine spark in them. Now, if we have a consciousness that is not purely describable in terms of physical elements, material elements, in other words, we basically have a rational nature, then it would follow that it must be derived from if there's a God, it must be derived from God's nature, right? Because God's the ultimate consciousness. But so what I'm positing here is that we start out as sort of a self-willed thought of God. So it's sort of like you could look at it from two angles. You could think of, you just focus in on this one thought that becomes a person, okay? Conception. I don't think that's just a pun here. You just focus in on this one thought, and it kind of wills itself into being to a certain nature, so that each person is distinct, unique, and each thought that develops into a full person is distinct and unique. But it kind of, so in classical theology, God is self-sustaining, self-existing. So each one of his thoughts that ends up as a contingent person, a created person, is as well. So in a sense, you could see that the thought itself is kind of springing itself into existence. Now, there's some issues of theodicy here too that would be a lot to entangle right now. There's a lot too much to go into within the context of this discussion, but and I know that there's some traffic noises here. I hope people can hear me. I'm trying to talk around that stuff, but okay. But then some people who are theologically inclined might object to that and say it sounds New Age or esoteric or like the Kabbalah or something like that. But if you think about it, it's implicit in the very idea of God even creating us at all. So if he creates our conscious identity, our spirit, then it follows that he sovereignly does so, and that you see it as God himself willing us into existence through a self-willed thought, because he is self-existent. So so that person kind of springs forth from this. So like there's actually a cooperative, or what's the right word for that? Complementarian, or it's both God and you willing, doing this. So the very moment that you even are conceived of, you are exercising your will in that first moment. And so it's both an act of God and an act of you, but it's both of you willing it together. And so you will yourself, but then it's an act of God that you're willing yourself, if that makes sense. So now, as for how people might interpret this in the context of the pre-existence of a soul or anything, I'm not saying anything like that. You can just think of it as happening within the womb, even the conception. But anyway, here's my bus. I'm going to run off. I think that's all I need to say for now, but hope that was helpful to someone. Thanks. Bye.